Hello, everyone. You're welcome to today's episode of the Edfields Podcast. I'm Kwabena and I'm your host for today. If you've encountered the police in any manner, one common saying that you often hear is that the police is your friend. But if you've used the road or you know any driver, you know one of the toughest beefs is the beef between the driver and the police on the road. Today, we are here to analyze what that relationship looks like in law. What does the law say about a policeman attaching himself to a driver's bonnet and being driven off? What does the law say about a driver ignoring the police and running away and the police chasing him? All those things, we'll discuss them today. So welcome to today's episode titled The Police and the Citizen. I have with me today two of my seniors and then one special guest among us. So we have Paul Elijah, who is with me here. We have
Hi, everyone.
Esther, who is
Hi,
also my
everyone.
senior here. And we have our special guest, a member of the police force. So thank you very much for joining us on this session. And I hope by the end of this session, we will all not be arrested for, for this episode. So let's just go straight into it. I've seen several videos, a number of them actually, where a policeman on the road wearing their reflector will try stop a driver, and then the driver will refuse to stop, so the policeman will jump on the car, then they will be driven away. What does the law allow a policeman to do that? And what are the consequences of a driver who actually does that?
First of all, I thank you for the opportunity. And I wish to say that whatever we are doing here today, we are all sharing our opinion as citizens and the experiences we ever had. That's what we are coming to discuss for the purposes of learning and for the purpose of this program. Yes, the police in their practice don't just do their work in a vacuum. They also work with the law. So as you rightly said, there are principles that guides the work we do. Aside the law, we have SOPs, which are the standard operating procedures, the service instructions, and kind of which some of them are not for the public consumption. And I believe most of you here might not even see the police service instruction before. In that service instruction, all practices of the police are outlined in it. The procedures the police are to follow vis-a-vis the law, specifically the Road Traffic Act. So if we ask if the police have the right to stop anyone on the road, yes, it is true, because the law mandates a police officer, in fact, any police officer, not necessarily the one wearing the reflector, directing the traffic or standing under a traffic light at that particular moment. Any police officer who is in uniform and is on the road and observe that a road traffic offense or any crime is being committed in his or her presence has that mandate to operate at any given time. So now, let's come to the specific one where a traffic police officer is assigned at a point or is even on a motorbike going on his normal routine duties. Then he encounters a traffic offense. Yes, he has the right to stop and do his work. The law allows that.
Okay, so from what you are saying, it's not just the police personnel who are part of the what we call the MTTU who are entitled to regulate conduct on the road. Any police officer can actually do that.
Sure. Once you are in uniform, even not in uniform, me as a plainclothes person, if I'm in my mufti as I was coming today, if I desire to drive a motorbike or any way, because I am permitted by law to enforce the law, irrespective of where I find myself. Once I carry the crown, I must work.
Yeah.
I think, sorry to chip in, but I think that I agree with my brother. But to add on, you see, the police are enforced by the law to protect the society. They are there for our protection, basically. First off, the police department has been demarcated into several segments. And the MTTD specifically is supposed to conduct traffic, maintain law and order on the road, and anything that has to do with the road and transport system. They are the ones in charge in the police force. But you see, the law is very clear that in conducting their business, they are supposed to operate within a certain remit of reasonable force. They are not supposed to go above, unreasonably above the force allowed by law. So let's say you see someone using his hand to lash someone, to hit someone. You've seen a crime being committed. It's assault and battery. Then you've pulled out your gun and you are shooting. It's that reasonably the force doesn't match. So in the same manner and in the same sense, if you see a vehicle, you stop a vehicle, the vehicle doesn't stop. I know the police have their ways of chasing the vehicle, jumping on the bonnet of a vehicle. I've seen the video around, and it's you see, it's comic, but it's very disturbing that a
Dangerous.
police would risk his life and then jump on a bonnet. And what is the aim? You'll not be able to stop the moving vehicle by jumping on the bonnet. So it's not a reasonable force to apply in that circumstance. If you have a vehicle, you can also chase after the other vehicle. Why not? Go ahead. But to jump on the bonnet, I beg. I don't think that.
In addition, I have also come across vehicles that sped off. And the only thing the police did was take the vehicle's plate number.
Exactly. Right now, we have a digital system that once you input the
Yes.
number,
So you don't
can-
necessarily need to jump on the bonnet. That is very dangerous. In fact,
Yes, I think I agree with you guys. But let's think about this. I am not of the view that the police officer we've seen jumping on the bonnet was deliberate or was to effect the arrest of the driver by jumping on the bonnet.
Okay.
The police officer lost his life as well. But let's look at it. What is the circumstance? Probably, and in my opinion, at that particular moment, he was saving his life. Because if he had not jumped on the bonnet, the driver might have knocked him down and he's dead instantly.
Okay.
okay.
So a jumping on the bonnet at that particular moment was to save his life.
Okay.
So it was recalcitrant on the side of the driver
To continue.
who had the intention to harm the police officer, even despite the fact that the police officer jumped onto the bonnet. He intentionally drove him with that manner of speed to harm the police officer, which is very wrong on the side of the driver.
That's true.
I mean,
That's
that creates a very glaring intent to harm the police officer.
Sure.
And I think I agree with my comrade on that.
I mean, having dealt with that, let's go on to this topic of license and whether or not a police officer on the road is entitled to have my license as a driver. I mean, I've heard varying stories from friends and colleagues. Some have strategies that they deploy when they meet a police officer on the road and they demand to see their registration and license. Some say they will just show it to the police officer. Some say they may give it to them, but the risk is that if you give it to the police officer, he will detain your license and then they will waste your whole day.
I generally don't think that a police is supposed to detain your license without any reasonable cause. I think the law even says that he's supposed to give you
A chit.
a chit for
Or a
detaining
receipt.
your license. I mean, let's take license into perspective. Yeah, if you are not up to 18, generally, if you are not up to 18, you can't have a driver's license. And then I know there are requirements that you would have to be up to the age of 25 before you can get such licenses for truck drivers and all of that. If you are driving on the road and then the police stops you and requests your license, I know people who have photocopies of their license and shows it to them. I also know people who have pictures of it and shows it to them. I'm actually going to ask my brother to show me the law that prohibits people from showing pictures on their phone or showing photocopies of their license. Now, the reason why Ghanaians have generally employed that route is that once you give it to the police officer, he will tell you that I've seized it. Come to the office and come for it. I have
It's
a
true.
friend of mine whose license was seized. He doesn't know he asked the police officer where he was stationed. The police officer didn't tell him. So how is he coming to the office to come and take it? So these are things that happen, and then you are inconvenienced on the road. I generally think that the police, of course, they can seize your license, but it's within a certain remit. They have to give you a cheat. Or even if you don't have your license on you, they give you 24 hours to come back. But there are instances where the police will tell you that if you don't have your license, then you're under arrest. I've experienced this personally. So yes, it's reasonable to answer your question, it's reasonable for the police to seize your license. It is. But they have to also operate within the remit of the law. They have to give you the cheat in return.
Okay.
So it's a take and give situation.
Okay.
I take your license, I give you cheat.
Okay.
That's how it operates.
But
I actually have a problem.
Uh-huh.
Not necessarily a huge problem.
Yeah.
But there should be an event that should happen for the police to say, I'm taking your license. Right.
I think that generally a police on his regular checks, once you're on the road, once you're applying the road, a police doesn't need a certain degree of event. Once the police suspects, do you understand? When the police suspects that this driver is not driving right, let me check his lines. Usually, on a practical level, the people who drive the DV plates tend to be stopped by the police a lot. They tend to be stopped by the police a lot. And it's understandable because you are not properly registered to use that vehicle on the road. The DV plate is a defective vehicle number. So if you are using it, it's for those who operate garages. If you are using it, you have to enter. There are certain regulations you have to meet.
So that gives a presumption that there is.
Yes. So
not
with that,
everything
they
right
have to
there.
inspect your particulars to see if you are fit to drive on the road.
But I think Esther's concern
My-
is
My concern is with regular people on the road, sometimes even public transport. So they meet the driver, let me see your license, and then take it without any suspicion. Usually it's just like routine check, normal
Yeah.
morning routine check.
Yeah.
They are going, you're on the road, and then they'll stop you and then let me see your license.
And
And
then
then they
they
keep
retain
it.
it.
They retain the license. So I want to know, is from our colleague here, I want to know whether is there an event that's supposed to happen, or you just size up the car and go like, okay,
They can just take your
I'm
license.
seizing this guy.
Yeah.
I'm seizing this guy.
Okay, so the police work is basically on discretion.
Okay.
Just as in the legal framework, we say at the discretion of the court, at the discretion, and we use those discretion. So police, we also work with discretion. Now, on the issue of seizing a license from a driver or a road user, the law permits that. However, I may not be able to quote the sections,
no
but
problem.
the Road Traffic Act outlines how a license should be seized
Okay.
and who is authorized to do so.
Okay.
If you should read the Road Traffic Act right now, it will tell you that an officer not of the rank below an inspector has that mandate or the authority to seize or retain your license. Now, my brother asked whether there is a law saying that you should show the police officer a photograph of the license on your phone, or the law is saying the original license. I think if you should read,
Yes.
if not specifically, it talks about you giving out the license. Now, someone may ask, is he any police officer? So who is that police officer not below the rank of an inspector? This is it. You are on the road with other colleagues, mostly if you are not alone. So if I am a police officer, not of that rank, and then I suspect a crime being committed, that's a suspicion, reasonable suspicion. So by applying the reasonable suspicion, the discretion comes in.
Okay.
So now I see you, no, let me stop this guy and search. And automatically, stop and search is allowed.
Yeah.
So I stop, and then based off based on whatever suspicion I had and stop you, I'll request for the license. You produce the license, you show it to me in a very nice way. Some police officer may use the discretion, so you just hold it like this and show it to me. You read whatever you want to read.
Okay.
After he or she is satisfied, based on why he stopped you, may just ask, drive on. Another one will say, no, bring the license, because it has both front and back. As you are holding it like this, you are showing holding the frontage, the back, I don't know, that's where the actual issue. Probably your license might have expired.
Okay.
It might not bear your name. It might bear the name of another person, which you are using. So by checking that, the police is not wrong. So here lies the case. The question of who retains. If we are 3 or even 2 there, and I retain your license, I am not of that rank. However, I am on duty with
Someone who is of
the rank. I have to what?
Submit it to that.
Submit or hand over to
The person of the
the
rank.
person of that rank, who will use his discretion either to keep it or to give it back to
the driver.
after they are done with their on the spot investigation or whatever the reason why, if they are convinced,
Okay.
then
Comrade, not to cut you short, but I have a quick one. So you were saying that the law states
Yes.
that it should be the original, you should carry the original.
Sure.
I think that a law also provides that if you don't have the original on you, or you don't have your license on you, you'll be given a time frame of
24 hours to produce the
within
license.
which you should produce
Sure.
it. So I think that if you have a picture of it on your phone, or you have a photocopy of it, and then you show it to the police, and the police is not satisfied, the police can request of you to produce the original in 24 hours, within which if you fail to produce, the police can take you on.
Okay.
That's what
that
I
is
wanted
it.
to
Yes.
add.
So for me personally, in my opinion, I think there are some vulnerabilities in our system
That's true.
that affect the work of the police in that regard.
I totally agree.
Yes. We sometimes we compare ourselves to the advanced countries where the police does not even need to ask of your license.
Yeah.
After stopping you, you the driver yourself, you know the system you are operating in. So once the police stops you and asks you a few questions, you know, you only direct, you know where to go.
Yeah.
But in our system, the vulnerability is so high that the policeman on the road feels that no, if I should allow this driver
To go
to go and say, come
to the police.
Oh, Charlie, I won't see him again. So the best thing to do is that I have to find a way to drag him to the police station. And the best way is to retain the license. And you know, we all know how it feels to obtain license in Ghana.
Yeah.
The struggle so if you realize that if this policeman sees my license and I'm not able to go and collect it, and I go back to, and mind you, before you even go back to the DVLA for another one, you still have to go to the police station
Yeah.
to get an extract
yes.
before you can obtain a new license.
Yeah.
So how do you go about that? So the best way to do is that. So for me, I am also of the view that it should be in a cordial way. Some of we the citizens or we the users of the road are so arrogant and so knowing that immediate, and we have some perception about the police.
Yeah.
Yes.
Immediately the policeman stops, you know,
You are angry.
that you are angry. So even if the policeman does not have that intention
Yeah.
of seizing or doing anything untoward you, because of your attitude toward the
Towards
police
the
at that
police,
moment,
Would want
it
to stress
aggravates,
you.
yes. And that arises at certain behaviors that we see between the police and the citizens on the road most often.
And I understand that. So from what we are saying now, it means that as a driver, you should always have your license on you.
Sure, that is what the law
That
says.
is what the law actually
That's
says.
what the law is saying. So you should always have it on you.
Okay. Because I was having a conversation with someone, and they were saying that, but why do I have to have my license on me? So far as I have it in my room, and I can show you a
No,
picture.
the law actually
that should
says
survive.
that you should have it on you. It is only when you don't have it on you that the law gives you
The
that
24-hour
time free
to produce it.
Okay. That makes sense. Now, let's move to something else that I'd like us to discuss. I learned very recently that it's not every car that every person can see inside.
Oh, yes.
And
Oh,
that
yes.
There are some cars that are not allowed to even have passengers. There are some cars that have a limit as to the number of people that can even sit in the driver's cabin.
Yeah.
Now, moving to talk about that, what are those restrictions? I mean, very briefly. And what's your perspective on how we comply with them? Because I've seen numerous instances where people are on the canopies of cars, people are on top of cars. And I'm wondering what the law says about those things. Are you allowed to live there like a cow and just be roaming around? If something happens to you, what do we do about it? So does the law prohibit that? Are people allowed to be sitting on canopies and of trucks and be moving around?
The law actually limits, when it comes to certain cars, the law actually limits the passengers that car can take. So cars like taxis are not parts. I mean, these are passenger cars, so obviously they will take people. However, these tipper trucks, some of these tipper trucks, or let me say these whole trucks, the ones that they used to carry chips, sand, and all of that, the law limits the amount of passengers that those cars can actually take. So in respect of these cars, it's either the driver, the owner, or the hirer of the car, or the owner or the hirer of the things or the goods that the car is carrying, or the agent of the owner or the hirer. So it has to do with either the car, the goods in the car, or an agent of the owner of the car owns, or the goods in the car. So that's the restriction that the law gives to that. Also, sometimes, I mean, the driver will have a companion, a mate. So that is also allowed. Because when it comes to, I mean, when push comes to shove and anything happens, the mate is supposed to check out and all of that. So that is basically
to add on. I think that generally every car has a restriction as to the number, the general position. Every car has a restriction as to the number of passengers it can take. If you sit in a taxi, it's 5 people. If you sit in a trotro, they have their ranges within the 4.
So that's where overloading comes in.
That is where overloading comes in. If you sit in a taxi, you see, all of these things have insurance, and the law is there to protect us all. Like the law, generally, I feel like Ghanaians have a position against some of these laws. I don't know if it's sentiments or if it's emotional.
Profit purposes.
So the people think that, why should I carry 5 people when I can carry 6? Because I know my car shocks and my car can carry 6 people. It can do 6 people, but the law is saying I should carry 5. So it has insurance ramifications. Then I know for sure that the insurance law or insurance policies, if you are, a lot of the Uber drivers we go with, if they don't have what permits them to take passengers and take money. I'm breaking it down. I don't want to talk technicalities.
That's fine.
So there's a permission you need to have to take passengers and take money. If you don't have that, and then you take passengers, and then you take money, and an accident happens, the insurance company will come, and you might not get anything because you took passengers and you took money. Your license to be on the road doesn't permit you. I'm trying to not go technical.
Yeah, so if I get what you are saying that's what differentiates a private car from a commercial car.
Exactly.
Commercial car.
Yes. Okay, so in a nutshell, a commercial vehicle has a license to take passengers and then take money from them
for their service.
But the private cars do not have that. What that means is that...
Hey, wait, you see, when there's rush hour, you see a lot of private vehicles
that is where I am driving towards.
Okay.
What that means is that...
Exactly.
Exactly. What that means is that if you sit in someone's car and you pay the person, maybe the person is driving in your direction, and then it's a private car. He's not licensed to be a commercial vehicle on the road. And then you pay the person. If anything should happen to that car, and then it comes out that the person was paid to convey you, it's not a commercial vehicle. So then the insurance ramifications set in. Now, to talk about the trucks and those who sit on top of trucks and those who... it all has bearings on insurance and who to claim and who not to claim. Because if you are a third party and you're assisting, that's why the law is clear that you should either be the owner of the vehicle, the owner of the goods, an agent of the owner of the vehicle, an agent of the owner of the goods, a hirer of the vehicle. Like the law is very clear and specific.
I understand.
If you don't fall within those remits and sit in it, then you are outside the scope, and so it becomes difficult for the law to.
That makes sense.
To work.
Going back to the insurance bits, I mean, so does it mean all these truck drivers have insurance? Because
They are supposed to by
They're
law. They're
supposed to
actually
have
required
insurance.
by law to have insurance. In fact, I was told, I remember one time I wanted to go into the Uber business, and I was told that if my vehicle doesn't have a comprehensive insurance, it can't be allowed to operate in the Uber business.
Okay.
And I feel like that is very reasonable, because I think that if you see how third-party insurance and comprehensive insurance works, comprehensive takes care of the people you take on, the people, anything can happen on the road.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
the truck
actually
drivers
makes
are
The
actually
system,
required by
system
law.
vulnerability is causing most of these things. For instance, if it's rush hours, be it morning or evening hours, I'll use Circle as my case study.
Okay.
If you get to the Kwame Nkrumah roundabout at Circle from 4:30 in the evening, right to say 9:30, there are a lot of human traffic. Now, the drivers have devised strategies that instead of the government approved fare, maybe from Amasaman to Circle, 7 cities. When they get there, they take advantage of the human traffic and how people are struggling to board vehicles and say, and they have the loading boys over there. They call them the shadow boys. Before you realize, they will rush the drivers and then arrange the fare, they negotiate. Before you realize, Amasaman, Pokwa say 10 cities and kind of thing. And will be man rushing for it. So sometimes you even see private vehicles, as my brother rightly, who are not even permitted, also takes advantage of that system and make money out of
Actually,
the road users.
for someone who takes trotro, that thing is very annoying. And you can't do anything about it.
do anything about
because that's your only means of transport. It's not like you can even walk there.
Yeah, so they are saying that, okay, fine. It's my car. Can you have media?
But
I think it's
So
genuine.
that's what they fixed. So for me, I'm still basing my argument on the system vulnerability.
But aside the system vulnerability, I think as persons or as human beings, we are also part.
Yeah.
The laws are there to protect us. Do not hang on the canopy. It's not safe.
Yes, I need to get home.
The thing is, it's your life.
I understand. But is it
The system has rules in place to protect you. You are also supposed to help the
I don't
system
want
to
to be
protect
protected.
you.
Yeah, so the question is, what offense will the police hold the driver for?
Overloading.
No, this is not overloading.
or paying charging excessive
Yes.
fees?
The charge of
Yes. Overloading.
Is it possible?
So here we are today.
You see, I think
Is there
you see,
any law?
The general position of the law is that before you hold someone for a crime, it has to, the Constitution
You have to
provides.
prescribe.
It has
Oh,
to-
so
It has to
the-
be prescribed.
overcharging is not a crime.
So this
Because I
one
have a
should
lot
ask
of drivers
So-
too.
And we've been arguing about it every time.
I do not.
And
I've not
surprisingly, you see
seen
policemen in uniform struggling with.
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah,
civil-
yeah.
And we
Just
bought
that
it together.
The only
Pay.
advantage is that you people have your front seats. So that one, nobody's
If it comes to rush hour, front seat matter for whoever.
It's true.
No,
It's true. It's
Oh,
true.
I think the police have an upper hand. When
no,
it comes
it's
to
about
rush hour-
at that material moment. It's about the survival of the fitter.
But
So who-
police do have upper hand during rush hour
No,
when you're in a uniform.
maybe
Well,
not
sometimes
as
they don't.
cycle.
So you see, the trotro drivers, from my experience with trotro, as a trotro user, the trotro drivers usually, when they see the police, it's an advantage.
Yeah,
to
an
them.
advantage.
If the police is sitting
Yeah.
in front of my
Nobody
car,
will stop
another
you.
police will not stop
Yeah,
me.
but to be honest, it's gone were the days when they used to say that when policeman sits in front of your car, it gives you that. And to be honest, they may not even collect lorry fare from there.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
don't.
Oh,
But now,
They give
Benja
them
Banshita.
VIP treatment
now,
too.
maybe not in Accra, Because I've had the opportunity to sit in vehicle with uniformed police officers all the time, and once they pay, and most of it because you know the conductor collecting fare system. Yes, one front, those kind of things. Sometimes you will see that maybe there was a passenger already in front of the vehicle who had already paid before the uniformed policeman joins.
Yeah.
So not to inconvenience the policeman, you say yes, one front. So you the policeman, so in this case you already know that yes, it is me that he's referring to.
Yeah.
So you have to pay. So this time around, the system is changing.
The system is not working.
It's no longer working in favor of the police in that regard.
That's true. That's true.
Yes.
But also, let's just get back to the main topic in respect of this overloading thing. Motor drivers, you talked about necessity, but there are motor drivers having two people, one in front, one at the back. One in front, one at the back. That is also against the law.
Sure.
And it's also for our own safety. I mean, the motor can take only 2 people. You have to have your helmet. But you see a dad with his 3 children,
And the
2 backpacking him, and then one standing in front of him, which is quite dangerous. And that is also against the law.
There is one that the law
it's
doesn't.
against.
I think the law didn't take into consideration because at the time that means of transport was not available. The yellow tricycles that ply the road.
Yeah.
Rush hour.
Is it the Aboboya?
The Aboboya.
Oh, they are called
The
Pragia.
Pragia.
Pragia,
Pragia,
sorry,
okay. They are
sorry,
called
sorry,
Pragia.
so sorry. Apparently,
The
they
Aboboya
have
is
a
part.
problem.
The Aboboya
They have a
is part,
problem
right?
if you don't
Yes.
call them with their right names.
Yes, yes.
So sorry for saying it's Aboboya, it's Pragia. So with the Pragias or the Aboboyas even, you would see that they would overload, and then there is this small metallic thing
Like,
just by the
you
rider.
Hold on to. Yeah.
It's supposed to aid the driver or protect the driver in case.
Yeah.
But the driver would overload to the point where he will put people there. And it worries me so much anytime I see it because I've seen them topple over several times.
I've encountered one in Kumasi. It toppled over, and there was a truck carrying log.
Can you imagine?
These small logs.
Yeah.
So it just toppled over in front of the truck. The truck too maneuvered and also toppled, and some of the log fell. And it fell on the lady's arm. Like,
Can you imagine?
The arm was just mashed.
This is what I mean when I say the law is there to protect us. It's not, the law is not there and against us, so it is there to protect us. And in as much as the law doesn't take that into consideration, it is simple overloading. Is that where a passenger is supposed to sit? No.
No.
So once you are not doing the right thing, please.
Yes.
You see, I
And that
think
is where
that-
the police officers comes
Come
in,
in.
and some of our colleagues takes advantage of it and say, okay, fine, you will stop, you arrest. At a point, negotiation comes in, some will plead, they look at and some
Several
of
factors.
Yes, some of the police officers will look at several factors. Okay, fine. Looking at the system, looking at how the area they find themselves, the situation, they let go. And gradually, it has become,
Enormous.
Mudia Montrase, sit down, let's go. Once we get to the police, they are our friends. And the familiarity of these drivers with the police on the road sometimes breeds,
Contempt.
The contempt.
yes. Because he knows that he's already familiar with the police. And when he gets there, he's my friend. Oh, Abai. Sometimes he might not even give anything, but because of the cordiality,
Yeah.
he maneuver and goes. And it becomes a norm.
It's a problem. It's
Yes.
a problem.
The
Pray
truth
that
is
we can
because the
also
truck
buy our
drivers know
Corollas.
that at the end of the day, it is we you would come to.
Yes.
And then it's the demand is higher than the supply.
Sure.
They will not mind you because last you still ride with me.
There are no
I think
other forms of
There are no other
transportation.
forms of transport.
So the
Taxis
solution
are-
would be
taxis
to
are
provide
fast
an
to run now.
alternative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Recently, I was
Viable
listening to
alternative.
the radio, Joy FM, and then the one of the panelists on the morning show said that the problem was that the Ghana is heavily reliant on the the road,
Yeah.
I don't know how to put it, but the road transport
Yeah. System.
system. We don't use other means such as trains
Trains,
and
yeah.
others. We don't use others. And so the burden is on the trotro driver. It just trickles down to the trotro driver.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
true. And I always use the Amasama and Sawam Road in this discussion as my case study. Talking about the transport issue that we're talking about. There's a burden on the vehicles now because the train line is
not functioning.
Is not functioning. So there's that pressure. So, and I think it's time for government to take advantage of the system and provide the government. If the government comes in with the government transport system, that will minimize some of these things, because government transport system always have a lower fare as compared to the private ones.
Yeah,
so you
that's
could
true.
see that most of us will be rushing to the government.
Yeah.
For instance, the Ayalolo terminal, they
Exactly,
charge lower
exactly.
fare. So early morning when you get to Amasaman, you could see that very long line.
Yeah.
The vehicles are not there, but the queue is there,
Yeah.
and people are taking it because of the fare.
Yeah.
So I think that's how that
So,
problem could be
Let's put a
partially
pin on
solved.
this public transport wahala and hope we get a solution out of it. What's an insightful conversation this one has been. This is the Edfields Podcast, your everyday law podcast, and it has been fun having you. We hope you enjoyed the discussion, and we look to seeing you on the next episode.